make a bunch of adjustments.
Because this one here is the internet.
Yeah, they didn't.
I'll switch her around.
Okay. And then we recorded it.
Have all these. That's all part of it.
Anytime.
Yeah, we're good to go.
All righty. Let's get this show on the road. Welcome to our latest Nebraska Iowa MUFON meeting. MUFON's all about the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. As the world's oldest and largest investigative body, we aim to be the inquisitive minds seeking answers to the most ancient question: are we alone in the universe? Let's see.
Of course not.
You gotta click. So it's like an extended display. You just have to click this one.
Well, I have to click that.
Well, with the mouse. I mean,
okay. All right. Technical issues. Happy January. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
The Nebraska team's made up of Kyle Finley, State Director, Field Investigator. We have Fred Zewe, Assistant State Director, ERT Representative.
Hey, the camera's on.
Cameron Steyer is Chief Investigator. John Barda is Field Investigator. Dimitri Blackwell is our Field Investigator trainee. And Dave Paris and Dr. Jack Casher are both consultants.
Present here.
Yeah, Dr. Casher's here today. The Iowa team is myself, Greg Anderson, I'm State Director for Iowa. Dave Kreider, Chief Investigator, Field Investigator, and Beverly Moore, Field Investigator. Our team's kind of dwindled there. Here's some yearly total stats. So far, we've had three in Iowa and one in Nebraska this year submitted cases. Kind of showing you the same numbers.
We got 3 in January?
We did. Yeah.
I do the next few slides. I just put my stats in right after this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You want to just talk about those?
Yeah. Well, I got a half-eaten cookie. You give me enough time to eat my cookie, man. Okay, so on here I got one chart that just shows the numbers for meetings. Just been keeping track of them ever since we did Zoom attendance way back 2021, 2020, somewhere in there. Which we start out Zoom only. That's where you see like 10, 14 people. But from there, I just kept track, just keep a record every meeting we have. We had one spike. That's when we did the symposium. That was 84 people. And then we had one meeting where we didn't have a meeting, so there's that 0 there. But yep, that's kind of shows the average there. Overall, it's about 20 people combined, Zoom and in person. Let's see what we got online now. We got 13 online and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 here. So yeah, we're at 20. 19, close. Casher, you can count as 2. There you go. Then we're at 20. This one here is cases by year for MUFON. We can see it kind of spiked back there in about 2015, 2016 is where we saw a big drop. And then we saw another big drop in 2024. I think that's the search engine. I don't know if they ever got that going again.
Yeah.
Search engine optimization, SEO. But yeah, we've seen a big drop in cases, but looks like this year we're doing better.
We got half.
we got yeah, we had a few cases, problems last year and this year, so we'll see how it goes. But we're doing better than 2024, so that's good. This one here shows Nebraska and Iowa cases by year. So this goes back to 2010, about when I started. So that's kind of what I'm interested in, kind of see it spike around. And when I became state director, we see that Nebraska passed Iowa one time. So I've taken credit for that, put that one in the books. And then these are dispositions. I kind of covered them a little bit like about a year ago, but I didn't really formally cover them. So this here, the top, let's see, top left chart that shows the dispositions for Nebraska MUFON from 95 all the way to 2024. And then I did one just for 2024. So you can kind of see the difference between like the all-time cases and what we're doing currently. And then the bottom one is the same thing for Iowa. So bottom left is Iowa, 1995 to 2024, and then Iowa to 2024, just that year. And I think the main thing I found in these stats is that the unknowns have decreased quite a bit. For Nebraska, we went from, the average is about 60%, and currently we're doing about 23% unknowns. And then
Better?
it could be either we're not getting as good cases, as good UFO cases, or we're able to rule a lot more things out. Or
ISS.
yeah, ISS. I mean, the Starlink satellites. There's a lot of stuff you can roll out, but yeah, we're up to about 46% for IFOs. And then Iowa, they had the same decrease in unknowns, about 10%, going for the all-time to just the last year. Well, not last year, but 2024 was when I took these stats. And IFOs also increased, so able to identify more stuff. And I also looked at some other states in the region. So I got Missouri on the top there. All time is on the left, and then just 2024 is on the right. And we can see that their unknowns also decreased from their, all-time stats, and their IFOs increased. And then I got North Dakota, which let's see, the unknowns decreased by about 10%. So it seems pretty common in our area that all the unknowns are going down and the IFOs generally go up, but both of these cases, I guess the IFOs decreased a little bit too.
We have more phones, picking up stuff so people are able to record.
Yeah, it could be more phone use and stuff over the years. 95 to 2005 is
Lights in the sky that are.
You're looking at a lot of different cases, that's for sure.
Satellite.
And then I did one more, which was California.
Chinese lanterns.
Mainly for California because they have so many cases. So they have about 10,000 cases, I think, 12,000 cases a year. And but they stayed pretty consistent between their all-time data and just the last year. So it could be they just have a more consistent methodology on classifying these. I know over the years we've kind of changed how we classify unknowns and IFOs, and stuff came out from MUFON to try to get everybody on order. They haven't really, I don't think they told us where our stats should be at exactly, but
In the past, they have.
in the past they have, yeah. But yeah, California seems pretty consistent, but you can also see their IFOs are at 46, 47%. So about half of what they get are IFOs. And that's about where Nebraska's at now. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But when you look at a large sample pool of numbers, you usually get where you should be at. And then one other thing I found is that, before, from the 70s to the 90s, MUFON published yearly case summaries, and they had about 60 to 80% explained, so that's higher than what we're getting now. 5 to 10% unknown, so that's lower than what we got now.
Cashier's era.
Wait, what years were you the state director?
He doesn't remember.
Yeah, and I think Dave was in 2015.
75 to 2000.
He was 2050. So I think he was about 95, right?
He took over when he got down.
I think 1990. So it'd be 10 years, 20 years. Yeah. So he started when they stopped doing the case summaries.
So Rainbow Shade was before you then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been told, yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's basically just the stats I wanted to go over with the case dispositions and everything. And plan to do more. It's just a long, slow process, going through the data, collecting it, year by year. I can kind of look up like any year I want to now. So if I want to like single out something, we can look at it. But that's what I got so far. And maybe we'll have more at the end of the year. Oh, I guess I should ask if there's any questions. If there's any questions, just chime up.
Hey, we're still dragging bottom, Kyle.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the Barta case.
Yeah.
That's what it has to do. So
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the stats for showing the that Iowa's at 100%, and then 23rd out of, there's like 51. And then Nebraska kind of fell off, a little bit. So they're at 46.
Hey, Greg, just a small interrupt. Hey, Dustin, can you check your inbox there? I sent you a couple messages. I'll make sure you get those.
Yeah, yeah, I can't even hear that. So Kyle's gonna.
So we got some messages on here.
Yeah, I just sent some to Dustin. I just want to make sure he gets them. I know he's from Ames. I just want to get in touch with him.
Did you send it in the Zoom chat or?
Yeah, I did. Just directly to him.
Oh, directly. Well, yeah. I'm not logged in, Chad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just before we get up. All right, that'll work. Thanks, Dustin. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Didn't interrupt you.
You can send it
Oh,
to
okay.
Kyle.
Yeah, you can send it to me if you want, or just throw it in the chat.
I'm going to send it to you as well. All right.
Thanks, Chad.
All right, let's go here and see what we got. For some reason, I thought we missed something here, or something got. Huh. All right. Sorry about that. Let's go. Okay, there we go. This month, Dave McDonald, the executive director, starts out as we step into a new year, I'm reminded of why MUFON exists: curiosity, courage, and shared commitment to uncovering the truth. January always feels like a reset, a moment to look back at what we've learned and look forward to what we've determined to discover next. And over the past year, we've seen a remarkable rise in public interest surrounding UAPs, government disclosures, scientific discussions, and a growing willingness to take phenomena seriously have all helped shift the conversation. But the heart of this movement remains exactly where it has always been, with dedicated investigators, thoughtful witnesses, and the community that refuses to look away from the unknown. This month, I want to highlight 3 priorities for our organization. Strengthening field investigations. We continue to refine our investigative standards and training. Accurate, although casework is the backbone of MUFON's credibility. If you've been considering becoming a field investigator, now is that perfect time to take that step. Encouraging witness engagement. Many people who experience something extraordinary hesitate to come forward. Let's continue to create a safe, respectful environment where witnesses feel heard, supported, and understood. Number 3, expanding public education. Our mission just isn't to collect data, is to elevate conversation. This year, we'll be increasing outreach efforts, hosting more presentations, and inviting experts to share insights into challenge assumptions and inspire new thinking. As always, I'm grateful to each of you. MUFON is powered by volunteers who give their time, their expertise, and their passion to a subject that demands open minds and steady hands. Thank you for being part of this journey. And let's make 2026 a year of discovery, collaboration, and continued progress toward understanding the mysteries in our skies, clear skies and open minds. All right. And we'll start the case review here. This first case was an Iowa case. It was signed to Beverly Moore. It was case 145474 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The witness was home in the morning of the December 21st and looked out the west-facing bedroom window to see multiple lights, and one was a very bright light that seemed to pulse and brighten and change shape. He observed the lights for several minutes, and they didn't move from that location. He took pictures and video that are attached to this report. And this has been an ongoing thing, seeing light beings to be followed everywhere by these strange lights. This morning, he says, I looked out the window again and they were there. I happened to pull out my camera and video these phenomena. One in particular was brighter than the others and stood out. I took a 2-minute video of these lights and decided to go back up to the quality of video and slow it down frame by frame, I saw it shape shift into different life forms of such, and one in particular caught my eye. Let's see what we got here. This is the video here, kind of will show here.
So you said this is an IFO?
Yes, this is an IFO.
Is that the object moving or the camera?
That's the camera moving.
What exactly does IFO stand for?
Identified flying object.
Oh, identified, okay.
Yeah.
Like you.
But then we have to continue to spend a lot of time on identified
Yeah.
objects.
Yes, we do. Part of our project.
Well, you can identify, then it's not a UFO, so could like look over stuff like this.
Yeah, it's good to spend 2 minutes on stuff like this.
Well, it has nice, colors.
No, it looks like a UFO to me.
Yeah. I think I can pause the video and go on to the part of the. Anyway, get the lights again, Kyle.
Or we can read.
Essentially, what Beverly found on this was that looking at using stellarium, she found that the planet Jupiter and several bright stars were in that western sky, and this essentially was the scintillation of the planets and stuff, and that was reported back to the witness.
Well, that's a cool anomaly, isn't it?
How do we
Yeah.
know it's a star though? Because they're not direction.
No, there's programs that they can run it through.
Yeah,
Which you
Yeah.
go next day to see this.
stellarium web.
So, what happens? So just because the star is in the sky, it's in the star.
And this is kind of cause some blown up pictures of what the witness supplied. It would turn different colors. When it scintillates, it shows a kind of a rainbow of colors through the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere that's causing the scintillation.
Did they see it the next day too? Next day they saw it, or?
He saw it several times,
Several
yeah.
And so
Did other people report it? That's what I'm kind of curious
well, if you
about.
see it one time, it looks odd, but if you see it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the same spot, then that's, you can see it. They reported that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you zoom in, you get the two, like Greg said, the scintillation.
Yeah,
You think
yeah.
it's something, but gotta be your fault.
Yeah, lights.
Moving the camera around.
Seeing a flashing color and all that kind of, I mean, if you didn't have any contact, that looks like a UFO. If it's
Oh, certainly.
moving in the sky.
It's interesting though, on subsequent days that other people, they were reporting something. Is that what you're saying or not?
No, it's the same object, but they
I
saw,
realize that.
yeah, they saw it multiple days.
Oh, the same person saw it multiple days. Okay.
Right.
Even so, you can even look at the star and look up and you swear to God it's moving. I actually went on a page and I saw a star and if you look at it, it's moving like a picture. You look at the star.
Well, is that because of the fact that the earth moved?
No.
Or the stars?
Of course it moved for me. The first move when I tell it to you. No, it's would be phenomenal, you look at something and you.
Yeah, that looks like it.
And you think you're standing still, but really,
Term for that, with the scientific term for that.
Yeah.
Because in the military, you're looking at distant lights, sometimes it needs a convoy or something, but might just need lights on the road. It'll get long enough.
Yeah, okay, so the term is, I can never remember this term. It's the term where you see a cloud in the sky and you think it's Jesus.
Well,
What is that?
Pareidolia or what?
Yes, pareidolia.
I've
Thank
seen
you.
faces. There's a term where it's like.
Yeah.
there it goes.
Anyway,
Sure.
this next case, this was a case that was solved last year by a field investigator named Marty Burrows, and then the witness at that time, he had ERT related type questions to ask. And so he resubmitted the case just so that he could fill out the experiencer resource team. So, and anyway, so I closed it right away and then turned it over to ERT. And essentially what it was closed as was an IFO. It was a lens flare that he saw. After he saw that, he said he started, like it says here, that he started speaking younger. And I wasn't sure if he meant earlier in like baby talk or childish talk, or if it was actually some type of a language, you know. So, but hopefully the ERT investigator will figure it out.
Oh, so that's still under investigation.
Yeah, the questionnaire part of it, yeah. This next one, Dave. Dave, you want to talk about your case here?
Yeah, sure. If you want, Greg, you can put up that image right off the bat.
It's the moon.
Okay.
Visuals.
Yeah, sometime around the mid part of July of 2025, around 7 p.m., a rural Bussy, Iowa witness was in his car headed north when he and his female friend witnessed a large, bright silver sphere just about 100 feet off the ground and less than 500 feet in ground distance that crossed in front of their car. And yeah, I don't think Kyle was in that image, but he said that it moved straight and level the entire time. And they only observed it for about 1 minute. As it crossed the road, it dimmed and shrunk in size until it just completely disappeared from view. And he believed that it didn't get smaller in size because it was retreating, but that it just simply shrunk in size. And this witness was very credible. And, you know, the witness's testimony that he was very close to the object seems quite reasonable, as he stopped his car on the county road and was able to observe it from different angles as it passed by, making it likely that his estimation of distance was accurate. And I had initially considered the possibility that this object or light was a plasma ball because of all the solar activity we've been having in the last year. And the solar activity is really ramping up. In the next, as one YouTuber said, California is locked and loaded. He thinks that a large earthquake is likely to occur within the next few weeks. But anyway, yeah, as I said, I originally considered this to be a plasma ball, but just because, you know, how quickly it became smaller but did not recede in distance. And I know that plasma balls or ball lightning usually occur only during or after thunderstorms. And the witness said that there were no thunderstorms in the area. So in addition, plasma balls or ball lightning usually follow down power lines. And I noticed that when I looked at this, by the way, this image is exactly where he was when he saw this. And you'll notice that there are no power lines on either side of the road. So I just put this down as an unknown other. Any questions?
Any questions?
So what was the duration of the, oh, it's just a minute. Okay.
What was the
1
duration?
minute. 1 minute.
Was it going directly west or away from him, do you think? or was it just disappearing? Was the object moving away from it?
Greg, you want to repeat that?
Was the object moving away from them?
No, it actually just, in this image, you might think that it was moving away because how it got smaller, but that's just it shrinking in size. No, it moved horizontally across in front of his car.
So why would it shrink in size then?
Why would it shrink in size?
Good question.
Well, I don't know. You know, if it was some kind of plasma or something like that, I'm still not sure that it wasn't plasma. But the evidence just really wasn't there. So I don't know why it would shrink in size.
Yeah. Was it a perfect sphere?
Was it a perfect sphere?
Yes. It was
Yeah.
it was silver, perfect sphere, and it appeared solid to him.
We got a ruling on it. Dr. Kesha says, ixnay on the plasma ball.
It was perfectly sphere.
If it was indeed perfectly spherical, that's not plasma. Plasma is like goo-goo blob, you know?
That's not a scientific definition.
Correct.
That's my
scientific
explanation.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
It could be
So
conscious.
what's the consensus? What's the consensus? What's the consensus on that then?
What is ball like?
Well, can't we just say that this was what do they call them, orbs? I have yet in my life to see an orb, but I know plenty of people do, and I believe they are real.
That's gonna be an orb. How would you roll an orb out?
Well,
If it was a plasma
yeah,
ball, it would sparkle.
yeah, you'd think so.
Because I've had one
Yeah.
in front of me.
Goo-goo blob.
Goo-goo
Yeah.
blob. Hey, that's the new technical term. It's the goo-goo blob.
It was not a goo-goo blob.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. If it was a plasma ball, I don't think it'd be so perfectly spherical like that and appear
No,
solid.
it would not.
Yeah.
I say it's consciousness.
I don't know what you mean by that, Brent.
It's a good unidentified object, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. A UFO.
Perfect sphere, you know.
But it
in
doesn't,
organically
does it not seem like?
change to a perfect sphere.
Because orbs can be all sizes, from the size of a baseball to the size of a beach ball.
Yeah.
But when people say orb, they report
They
it.
can.
People talk about that.
Do anything.
Well, I know, but it's been observed.
Yeah, no.
I asked Fred.
It would also be iridescent.
And
And it would sizzle as it was going by.
Yeah, orbs can be.
I remember that.
And
Yeah,
they
very,
can grow.
very strange case, you know. Yeah. And the witness was quite incredible, I thought. So
Why did that happen? Do you have a drink? You see that?
You know, you put it like out on the ramps.
You can go sideways.
Yeah,
It's got directional mics.
Oh, it's got directional. Okay.
yeah. Does Paul want to comment on that?
I don't believe that's a plasma ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just setting the mic stand up a little bit different here.
Can they hear you?
So
I'll put that.
so it shows out and in, and then it's got two mics to get both of that. So okay. All right, hopefully that works.
Yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit with the sound in the background.
Yeah, we don't have any
Okay.
good mics for that.
Someone asked if there were any changes. Someone asked online here if there were any changes in the field on either side. And I did not actually get to that. I wasn't on site there, so I couldn't tell you.
Was it perfectly white? Was it a light or white?
Was the color white?
Plus, it happened. Plus, it happened over 6 months ago.
Okay.
So if there were any changes in the field, it probably wouldn't be evident now.
Was it white?
Was it white?
It was silver.
Silver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it reflecting light? Black color.
A large, bright silver sphere is how do you describe it?
That would almost be indicative of a craft. Silver. Yeah, silver craft, like a disc. So now they changed the ball.
Yeah, they changed shapes.
Yeah, they changed shapes, they morph into different,
They can pretend to be a helicopter.
Yeah.
You know?
they do, they morph into anything.
Yeah.
Definitely. Unknown.
Definitely questionable here. Yeah.
That's a good one, Dave.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. I thought it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Now we'll go on. Fred, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah,
Read that whole paragraph.
lots of paragraphs, pictures too. So I have to hit
Yeah, click the one with the slides on it. Yeah,
like this.
yeah, click anywhere.
All right, this is case 145536. It's the guy by the name of Moses. And I was talking to the witness, I'd like, you know what? I'd be intimidated to have the name Moses. I'd have to live up to an expectation of some sort, but he kind of laughed. But he said this happened October 2nd of 2024 around 12 to 1 p.m. So as I found out about this case, it had no UFO craft sighting, and so it is strictly a ERT case. And so the sighting case disposition for this would be insufficient information, since there's nothing to do with a sighting. It's totally ERT, meaning an experience of some sort or a vision. I said, after having the witness and responding back to me via text message, we chatted text-wise for quite a while that day, and then eventually on December 31st, we had a very nice discussion over the phone. The witness told me very frankly and openly that his early life living in Rapid City, South Dakota, that with a very poor and disturbed Native family, that he was a Native American, that of Lakota Sioux, North Arapaho, and of Spanish descent. The witness received his GED in 2008, which is a year earlier than if he had normally graduated. But then he said he wasn't proud of his younger years, which he was highly rebellious, which led to his juvenile incarceration. Most of his earlier life as an adult was spent doing drugs alongside his gang life, which he said was very violent, though eventually he came to some spiritual insights when he picked up the Urantia book in 2017. This book spoke to the witness in revealing the mysteries of God, the universe, the world history, Jesus, and ourselves. The witness stated that the Urantia book was divided into four different parts, and the last part, which spent most of the time he read, was about the life of Jesus. This had a profound effect on him, in which I have to come to see, which manifested within his lucid dreams and visions, which he has recently experienced. And this is the Urantia book, and we just happened to have our MUFON Thursday night talk, and I talked about Urantia book. I said, anybody know about it? And Greg goes, yes.
Yeah, seriously, who in this room knows about Urantia?
Yep. So Tanya knows about it. I knew about it, and I got to know about it because of there was a man speaking down in the famous UFO Center conference down in Eureka Springs, the UFO Ozark UFO conference. Yeah. So we talked about this, and there's my little.
Yeah.
And was yours late last year?
So I was going to talk about the Urantia book. So the history of the Urantia book is the story of a mysterious spiritual book. The Urantia book, purposely dedicated to dictated to a
Yeah, I
Chicago
read that.
psychiatrist, Dr. William Satter, by celestial beings between the years of 1920 and the 1950s, revealing cosmic history, God's nation, detailed accounts of Jesus' life, with its publication in 1955 sparking interest and debate due to its origins, vast scope, and integration of science, philosophy, religion, and forming a unique non-denominational spiritual text. Origins of authorship. The contactee, a Chicago psychiatrist, and Dr. S. Slatter described, he transcribed messages from a man named Wilfred Kellogg, who spoke in his sleep, conveying teachings from supermortals or revelators, much like what Edgar Casey did, really sleeping, coming out from a trance state, talking about various different things. So he's tapping into these celestial beings, these entities of some sort. So he's speaking through. So the celestial beings were being identified themselves as extraterrestrials from other systems, naming Earth, Urantia, and claiming to guide its evolution. Secrecy and study. Slatters formed a group in 1925 called the Forum to study these messages, keeping the contactees' identity hidden. Publication. Urantia Foundation formed in 1950, which led to the book's official publication in 1955. The book content was part 1 and 2 was the cosmic overview describing the vast universe with God at the center, as called paradise, and Urantia as Earth as one of the many inhabited worlds. Part 3, history of Urantia, details the planet's geological, biological, and human society evolution, including events like the arrival of Adam and Eve. Part 5, again, is Jesus' life, offered expanded detailed accounts of Jesus' life, teachings, missing years, incorporating elements from his childhood, family travels, ministry, and according to the book. Scope covers science, religion, philosophy, history. Legacy, unique revelation. It presents itself as a fifth epochal revelation, building upon previous human spiritual knowledge, but superseding earlier texts like the Bible for some reader. The book is unknown authorship. The complex spiritual claims and origins of the content remain subject of debate and speculation. Influence, while not an official religion, groups like Jesusonian, I didn't know that a Jesusonian Foundation promoted its teachings over 500,000 copies are in print, influencing spiritual seekers.
To Urantia.com.
Yeah.
Download the entire book.
Yeah.
Audible book.
You can go to Urantia's, what's that, Urantia.com, and you can download it. Yeah.
That you can download either the Audible. It's like a 1,000 pages.
Is it 10 out of 10, like great read, or?
You know what? It was, from my memory, the first section was all about the angels. That's how it started out.
Yeah.
Both the fallen angels, the watchers, and
From the Watchers who
it got so intense.
Yeah.
And I say I know what Urantia is, but I only got through that first section. It was so intense. Maybe it was a time in my life I couldn't handle it. I don't know.
Oh, great.
Well, yeah, she's right. They kind of go through this universal hierarchy of things and how they all relate down to maybe to the angelic level. And it is long. I ended up reading the entire thing.
Did you?
It was like many hundred pages long.
It's a very thick book. It's really.
And you read it all, Fred?
No, I don't even think. I think I've read a couple pages.
Well, you got the gist of it.
I got the book though.
What's the overarching lesson or theme of the book?
It's the history of Earth.
Yeah, history of Earth.
But yeah, but what's I got that.
Well, I'm getting it's like new revelations from the teachings of Jesus and things that were like.
So again, this is back in 1925 to 1950, and then the book came out. So there's that revelation. So it's all
Real nature of religion.
yeah. So anyway, the witness wanted to know more about his experience and thus found MUFON via, guess what? AI.
Oh, wow.
In which he thought he would get some more understanding to his inner visions and dream times. So he got me. So he's going to get a good verse on out about experiences and all his dreams and everything else. So he got a good forte. We had a great chat. I really like Moses, and I really connected with Moses. The witness showed me his drawings. So he's got these drawings of some of his experience, which you'll see the pictures of later. I recognize him as having seen shadow beings and the grays. And he talked about these ant people where he then stated that he was taken to this craft. One of his inner experiences, he had an encounter with this one being whose name was Aman, who was a blue being, a warrior. All right, here's the first pic.
You gotta make sure
Ooh, wrong mouse.
Oh.
I know, here's a mouse here, and I'm like,
It's my computer than the
right.
room computer.
So,
Hey, Fred.
yes.
Hey, did you say ant-like?
Say what?
Did you say ant-like?
Ant. The ant beings.
Ant people.
Okay,
ant
okay.
people
I'm just
down in
kind of going back to referring to my old cases. So, okay, thank you.
southwestern part of the states where the ant people went to down in Dulce, Mexico, and down around that area. You know, so
Four Corners.
the Four Corners area. That supposedly that helped with the who were the Hopi Indians, and the ant people helped with the Hopi Indians when there was cataclysmic events, and the ant people brought them down below ground, so they were having this cataclysm. So that's the story about the ant people.
Can you read this to
Okay.
us?
Yeah.
Hey, Fred,
Yes.
Fred, this is Alan. My wife had a sighting late last year. I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
Early
We'll get
last
to that.
year.
Alrighty.
Right.
So I spoke to the witness about his experiences, and then again, these set of drawings that you'll see more about. The event started when he was taking a shower, and this is back in November of 24. And again, he's incarcerated right now at this time. So this experience he's got to be totally, yeah. So Dave Paris told me he was taking a shower and he would get inspiration all the time. Yeah, you can. So shower, if you really want to become enlightened, you need to take showers and think about stuff, right?
Because of more to your brain from the water.
So before he's been reading this Rancher book since 2017, and this is 24. So he's been reading the Rancher book, and then it came to a time right before this day we was taking a shower, and he was asking. He wanted to know more about Jesus, and said that he wanted Jesus and God to become a part of his life. So he's basically asking for, and his intention to be with me, right? So he's got this intention built up, and he's kind of emotionally upset, he said. But he said the event started when he was taking a shower. This vision came to him when he then had this out-of-body experience. There he observed this guy walking up these stairs, which you can see in the center of the picture, the stairs, and then the arrow pointing down to this guy, which had and then you see that circle to the left, and he said that big blob there was the sun was within the circle. The witness stated that he saw this other man on the backside of the circle, and then whom looked at him. He then saw this all-seeing eye come forward with these flames from within the triangle being the sun, and then on the edges. So you can see the triangular down below where the all-seeing eye, and then you see the flames, and the flames was around the eye as well. He felt the wave of love and peace come over him as he then viewed these waves coming down from space above, which is to the right side, those little stars and stuff coming down this wave of energy. The witness was in awe, saying it was a wonderful knowing that someone loved him. I found that this dream was self-explanatory what really transpired. And for me, this was a spiritual awakening for the witness. I figured the guy off to the left who eventually said, I'll get to that. Hang on a minute. The witness stated about a month later he had a very similar dream event that took place where he saw now that the one man walking up to the stairs onto the platform, stating that was him. He finally realized that was him walking up the stairs. In the CMS abduction forum, long form description event, he stated that he then saw this long line of naked men. They were all walking towards the shower within this room. He then talked about his visions of the famous wheel within a wheel, where in this case he saw these giant rings within rings, and he saw these eyes attached to the rings, and then he saw the various humans strapped to the rings. So I've come to acknowledge that the wizard was having a profound spiritual awakening throughout all of these experiences which have been transpiring for him over the past years. He stated when he found the ranch book, he was feeling hurt and lost, and that he had lost everything he had worked for, only to ask the day prior of his intention of God to be a part of his life, when he then led into this vision encounter the very next day. The vision of the naked men heading to the shower is highly symbolic of the need of a spiritual cleansing. He then, observing his vision with the giant rings within the rings, where he was shown God's omnipresence of various interdimensional levels, rings, to these eyes that was consciousness and inner awareness, only then to observe the humans being strapped to the rings, suggesting the complexity of reality via the rings movement to divine control and the spiritual significance of each aspect. Again, knowing the witness's life history, that of being a Native American, and their spiritual psychic ability, and then having taken various drugs that often open you up to these interdimensional experiences, much like to Carlos Castaneda and Don Juan and his spiritual awakenings. So many of us here, we've got one right here, Luke, who lives down in Peru, and he does his ayahuasca ceremonies, and he's taken people on these various trips, and people have these type of experiences of opening up their chakras and opening up their mind and things of that nature. So in his case, I kind of speculated that he's doing the same thing. You know, he's had this really strong intention of wanting to know God more and be Jesus part of his life. That intention invoked the dream of the and what that person did say was, well, I'm always here. So that's the voice communication that he received when he was looking at the guy, with the wave coming down, and again he heard the voice as he was watching him. He's looking. He said he had connection with the guy. He says, "We're always here." So he had this spiritual connection. So in doing so in the dreams, he observed the grays, the ant people, and then encountering his own shadow people for his healing purposes. Finding that this witness in coming to this awareness with his own words and CMS, that of peace, comfort, desire, and for understanding, knowing God, and that of truth. Oops, wrong. Okay. Now this is one of his visions. He said I'll read the context of that. He said, the witness says, I was thinking, do I want to find out and be like God? I don't know that I made it to this power yet, because I know I'm missing something. So here's his chessboard, and he said that he's had several meditations where this chessboard was coming, and there was like a moving arm that was going down. Said, I know my heart, or was it yet, I was not yet into it, even though I was kept saying yes, that he wanted to, talking about consciousness of God, he wanted to be a part of that. So I've been seeing this chessboard a lot lately. This time, this vision, a clock without the numbers, but had a moving arm. He said, I was crying for my grandmother, saying I was sorry for being bad. I needed her help. Prior to this, I was thinking about when I was a kid, I made his brother Josh fall down the stairs. As if I was possessed. And then he went on to this. So the chessboard is, I'm symbolically of, what do? You play your moves in your life and things of that nature. So this chessboard is symbolic of that construct. Oh, you're going to take that away from me?
Figures fall into the chest.
Well, the arm is movement. It's like you have to use your arm, arm and hand, and then the chessboard represented
No, I got that from the last photo, but what about this?
This is his the shadow beings. So he got this called the shadow beings, and he said the witness asked if he stated that he saw these shadow beings. Again, any psychotherapists and things like that, we work on shadows, and the shadows are always about us, and we have suppressed this, and so they come out as manifestations of shadows, and so we're scared of them. I just had the black blob. I had an experience where I had this out-of-body experience, and I saw this black blob, and I'm going, I don't want to even be part of that black blob, and I swam away when I really needed to go to it and speak to it. I needed to speak to the black blob. So I kept on, and then he says, I kept thinking that the darkness had its chance to kill me, to get me to think, and to get me to thank God, to ask me to give myself over to the beast or whatever it is, or to give himself over to the beast. But I gave myself to God and Jesus. My loyalty is to God and Jesus. These hooded figures appeared while I was meditating with the shadows. It was like down a long corridor. I didn't see the faces, and on his top of the line it says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. So he's going through this revelations of awakening, his own divine intervention and so forth. So he's going through all this stuff, with the shadow beings appearing to him. And I guess on the right hand side, he said that was him. He was kind of an out-of-body state. So that's very
What's interesting about this graphic is
right.
that I've never seen a shadow person, so I don't know. But
Right.
everything I've ever heard or read about it on Art Bell's show,
Right.
and they have really long arms.
Right. Well, again, he has these long arms. Yeah, these have these long arms and no faces. I mean, no identification. He doesn't recognize that this is something that has no formation or understanding of it. So he doesn't identify it. But so the face is not there. So there's not. So then here he is. It's kind of like this is back to his. Maybe when walking across the platform, he saw all these naked men walking towards his shower, which of course, he's incarceration, and so he's seen all these men. So that's kind of a reflection of that he's in incarceration, and that all these men needed to be cleansed, So the shower is there, and everybody needs to be cleansed, right? So the witness is taking a shower and asking, what is my truth? Ending up losing focus and losing concentration and never out to where I was, and having this out-of-body experience when he then saw his physical body. So this is kind of like a doorway, and the light was coming through, and things of that nature. Yeah. So this is another one of his little renditions of his experiences. And then he did see the grays. The witness says the heads were not big, like not as big as that. Oops. There they are. They said the heads were not as big like the drawing, but they were bald, and they looked like they were laying on their stomachs when one of the on the left pushed the button. As you can see, he got a little thing in his hand, and it says click. And when when this gray clicked it, he said, my ear rang on the left side. When it said he heard the button click. So in all of this, you got Dr. Rick Strassman, who used DMT and he used infusions into these volunteers. And a lot of the volunteers were already had out-of-body experiences, so they wouldn't freak out. And what he did during that time of his study from 1990 to 1995, infusing these people with DMT, 80% of the people that had out-of-body experiences all experienced ETs. So taking drugs, and so he has opened himself up through the drugs, being Native American, having that psychic ability innately within him, that he sees these grays, in one of his meditations. So,
well, did they see ETs, or from what I've read about his studies, they saw something called machine elves.
yeah,
And they
machine
saw
elves.
a lot of snakes.
Yeah,
And they saw a lot of geometric figures.
right.
I've never read that they saw ETs.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So they're machine grays or machine elves, that kind of looked like machine elf, if you're going to look at him. So anyway, this is his experiences and some of the things that he shared with me. I really like Moses. I would not want to have his soul saying, kick me into this life, and having, the Native American, his incarcerations and things of that nature, going through this gang life of violence and so forth. But he had a rough life. He really had a tough life. Yeah, that was his lifetime and his need to see stuff. I said, I have thoroughly enjoyed listening and talking in all which the witness has offered, though I find that his experiences are more to a spiritual nature, and that his experiences do not resemble an established description of an alien encounter, alien abduction or ET contact. Thus, I have to conclude that this ERT case disposition is that of non-scientifically explainable case. Since he really didn't have any abductions of any sort of nature. Not to say that he didn't have, because he just doesn't remember yet. And this case came up basically when he was in the shower and things of that nature. So, yeah, he's living in Omaha in South Oak. Yeah. So I did go out and chat with him for a short time personally, and we had a burger together, and so we had a great time, great talk. So I know, fun guy, but yeah, he's got all the gang stuff on him, a lot of tats and things like that. So
does he have a chair?
He's got a dollar sign on his face.
Jeez.
I mean, yeah. So
I just heard yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find the source. I was driving and I couldn't write it down. But it was an article by somebody who was stating that the Greys
are what?
Are the guards of hell.
The guards of hell. That's what Tanya was saying.
Hell.
Right. Any other questions on this very intriguing spiritual awakening for Moses? Maybe he's living up to the case now. He's running his spiritual life now as Moses.
Right.
I know. I think it's a great. I just really have taken to Moses, and I'm trying to help him out spiritually as much as possible. Yeah.
Do they do any classification by any of the cases?
Yeah.
So what would this be classified as, I
This
guess?
was a non-scientifically explainable case. That's one of their definitions. He didn't have an abduction. He had some ET contact, just that one, but strictly, just like when you have a sighting case, we do the event, just that alone. And then if you have another case, then we tell them to write up the case for that particular event,
What are the other
categories?
Substantial case of ET abduction, substantial hoax, and the various ones there. You can look online and through it, but
I don't know about anything.
anecdotal case, an anecdotal case, which would be he thought it was real, but it maybe not, kind of like saw a craft and he thought it was real, but it really wasn't. It's an IFO, anecdotal. It's a story.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
that's very interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I love this case, even though it wasn't no real. You saw an alien, saw the graves, and the ant people, and the shadow beings.
Well, I wonder if he went under hypnosis, if he would find out, he probably has.
I told him he would have to do that. Great case.
All right.
Fascinating.
Very hypoplastic.
Is Beverly Trout still around?
Beverly's still around. She's no longer a MUFON member. She's doing her own investigations on her own. She's got to be in her 80s somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
It was 89.
Yeah. She came to one of my meetings last year, which was well attended. And I'm hoping to get her back this year, but I haven't talked to her recently. I've seen some emails from her, but yeah, Beverly Trout. Yeah.
Have we seen her a few times in the Zoom part of our audience?
I don't see the Zoom normally, so I don't know.
Yeah, I thought she was on
I think
the
so.
past, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, maybe a couple of years ago.
All righty, let's go.
Okay.
Got a video here to show.
For 3 years straight, the UAP Disclosure Act has been killed. First, they blamed Mike Turner and Mike Rogers, then it was committee staff protecting their turf, and now sources are pointing to someone even more powerful. A new report from Liberation Times published on January 3rd named Senator Mitch McConnell and his Chief of Staff Terry Carmack as central figures in blocking the UAP Disclosure Act from becoming law. But wait, just weeks earlier, Congressman Eric Burleson said something different. He suggested it was not a senator at all, but rather staff on the Senate Appropriations Committee protecting their turf. So which is it? And why does the story keep changing? Let's break this all down. As always, I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. You can find the sources in my detailed articles at ufonews.co, along with in the description box below. Hey ufologers, I'm Christina Gomez, and welcome to this episode of UFO News Updates. Congressman Burleson himself addressed his frustration in a recent interview on the Total Disclosure podcast. Take a listen.
Now let's talk about the UAP topic. This topic does not benefit anyone in politics. There's no real win here. And so if you're a staffer, you really don't want to spend any time whatsoever on this topic. It's a distraction from getting you into, because look, there's not a lobby firm that's hiring on this topic. So any kind of effort or time that's spent on this is not necessarily in their motivation. If anybody that is motivated, it's out of pure personal interest.
According to Liberation Times, sources identify Terry Carmack, Senator McConnell's chief of staff, as the person who pushed to have the UAP Disclosure Act stripped from the fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA. One source told the outlet, quote, "Mitch has always worked against it. He is the number one villain. Number two is Terry." Now, McConnell sits on the Senate Appropriations Committee, but here is what's really interesting. This is not the first time McConnell has been blamed. In 2023, attorney Daniel Sheehan publicly accused 5 Republicans of blocking the UAPDA. That list included Senator Mike Wicker, Mitch McConnell, along with Mike Turner, Mike Rogers, and Mike Johnson. Sheehan famously said, quote, 98% of everybody in Congress is in support of this bill. It's just these 5 guys holding it up. Now, here is something worth considering. According to the data from Open Secrets, Congressman Mike Turner's largest campaign contributors during the 2023 and 2024 cycle came from miscellaneous defense at over $174,000, followed by defense aerospace at over $80,000. Congressman Mike Rogers was the largest recipient of funding from the defense sector during that election cycle by a wide margin. His total contributors in that cycle included over $400,000 from defense contractors. Why does this matter? Because the UAPDA includes an eminent domain provision. If it passed, any private company holding materials of unknown or non-human origin would be required to surrender them to the government. Defense contractors and aerospace companies would have a clear interest in making sure that never happens. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? As noted in the debrief back in November of 2023, David Grush specifically named Lockheed Martin as a possible holder of exotic technologies during his testimony. In 2024, a fuller version of the UAPDA was submitted again, but once more, McConnell was blamed for that failure. And then in 2025, the same pattern repeats. That led Burleson to submit it as an amendment to the House version, which ultimately failed. In the same Total Disclosure podcast interview, Burleson explained the difficulty of getting anything done in Washington.
That every committee has to pass their section in order to make the entire bill work. If that gives you an idea how difficult sometimes it is to get anything accomplished in Washington, D.C., a lot of it has to do with egos. A lot of it has to do with turf. And that's why it's so difficult sometimes to get anything done. And I've experienced that firsthand with trying to get the UAP Disclosure Act put onto the National Defense Authorization Act, or getting the bill, heard independently and getting it to the floor has all become difficult because there's multiple committees that have jurisdiction.
Now, there's a lot more to the story, so don't go anywhere. We're going to get into what Congressman Burleson said about staff versus senators, what David Grush is doing behind the scenes, and what the plan is for 2026. Here's where things get complicated. In mid-December of 2025, journalist Matt Laszlo from Ask a Poll caught up with Burleson on the steps of the Capitol. When asked where the opposition of the UAPDA actually came from, Burleson told Laszlo this.
Did you find out where the opposition is?
It's like there's some, I don't even know if it's the members of the Senate side, but the Senate approach staff feel like it's their turf. And they don't want to, so we need to have that conversation. I think Senator Rounds is going to have that conversation.
Interesting. So it wasn't even a member who opposed it?
I'm not aware.
So which is it? Is it Senator McConnell personally blocking the legislation, or is it his staff and the Senate Appropriations staff acting on their own? The answer might be both. Staff in Washington often act on behalf of their bosses, protecting their interests and jurisdictional turf. Whether McConnell is actively directing this or if his staff is doing it in the name of his, the result overall is the same. Despite these setbacks, Burleson remains committed to pushing forward and, according to him, he has help.
David has been extremely helpful. Particularly in kind of navigating the intelligence community. He helped us directly write the interrogative letters that we ultimately ended up sending just before we had the hearing this last year. And he's helping us write some more to different other agencies and private companies. So he's been helpful in that regard, also helpful in kind of evaluating witnesses and providing insight, because he's interviewed most of these people in his official capacity when he was employed with the federal government. So he's able to give that kind of insight.
With David Grush on staff, new whistleblowers potentially coming forward, and refined strategy for 2026, the fight for UAP transparency continues. What do you think needs to happen for this bill to finally pass? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm Christina Gomez, and that is it for today. I will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST for another UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the sky.
Trump was supposed to get us this.
Trump's supposed to talk about it. He's gonna say.
I think it's all rhetoric.
Right after he takes Greenland, it's going to
Canada,
to Mexico.
I heard the
Colombia.
reason we want Greenland is not due to strategy, but right in the center of Greenland, there is a huge 55-mile wide UFO. The ice in Greenland, just like the ice is melting in Antarctica, the ice in Greenland has melted And part of this UFO has revealed itself. Now, I'm not saying that I believe this, but I have recently heard this scenario.
I don't think there's anything stopping the US from putting a military base there, though.
We got one though.
Yeah, we already have
we have
one.
agreements to have military bases.
We got numerous bases on Greenland. We had a bunch of them and now we took a lot of them out. But we have at least one.
Oh, we had a bunch of military bases in
Yeah.
Greenland. Oh, wow.
And now
Interesting.
we've done it. Or I don't know what we did.
But I mean, I find it interesting, like I said, I'm not saying.
That's the X-Files movie, remember?
Yeah, I texted this to litigation, texted back, X-Files.
X-Files.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's valid, but I'll tell you what, it does make a lot of sense. Just like when we went into Iran, we went into the museum to get special artifacts. Iraq, to get special artifacts that might have, and I heard there was. The main thing we were after was a Stargate that was hidden under that museum.
Right.
We wanted that technology.
Well, we got technology after we went into Venezuela when supposedly the sonic wave went and
Yeah,
killed all
blowing their brains.
killed all the soldiers, all the Cubans, the Cuban soldiers defending Duro, you know. So how the guy bleeds out of his ears, bleeds out his nose, and shoots up blood, and blood coming out from him. And then of course you got all the
Is that a directed
energy.
energy weapon?
Yes,
right?
so-
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, that's been going on, and all the people in all the countries are going, what? You know, so they're kind of like, I think Argentina boys said, we're signing up for Dr. Trump, you know, and this and that.
I guess Mexico's scared, but.
Yeah.
And do you realize we did that operation with only 20 men? 20 men.
Well, I don't think we have any good view back to what happened. No, we're still talking about the nation. You do not know what happened. You think you know, no, you have a video.
That's what we're told.
Our Trump press secretary, speaker. No, the one who talked to the press.
Carolyn Levitt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carolyn Levitt even used the term super soldiers. There were 20 super soldiers, and we did not lose one guy.
Well, that's called millions of dollars in payout. You know, when you buy out the government.
Well, they were all, there's all dark, so we had all their,
Yeah, we have an advanced technology.
McDonald's, you know, that,
And where did we get our advanced technology from, Joe?
Well, anyway, you don't.
Stargate, all
You lost control.
I know, you guys.
Shut up.
Anyway, you know, and all new disclosure, I just want to say that, you know, they've been talking about this for a long, long time, and if you think you look at Mitch McConnell,
Isn't he dead yet?
so you're interrupting. But if you look at these guys, like, they're obviously all, you know, like, they're not deciding things, someone else will be done for them.
Trump's coming out. He's part of Tesla and all that information, John Trump and all that,
To
so.
use the phrase super soldiers,
Yeah.
it was somewhat of some kind of disclosure.
Right there, Greg,
All right.
take over.
Great. I've got something I should share with everybody
Please.
for a few minutes, yeah. I think I'll come up there.
Sure.
Good.
I'm pulling it off the top of my head because I don't have my notes and stuff.
What kind of disclosure you gonna give us, Dr. Cash?
Well, you'll find out.
Yeah, Dr. Cash is gonna speak to us, we'll talk a little bit.
About 2 months ago, I got a phone call from a guy on the East Coast. He's a funny name. He's got lots of contacts over there, and I can't tell you much about his background except there's quite extensive in UFOs. And he said, "Is this Dr. Cashier?" I said, "Yes." And he said, his thought was what I wrote on the STS-48, that paper I wrote 25 years ago, he thinks is the best example of extraterrestrial craft that have been here because of all the stuff involved with the analysis. And he thinks that we should try to make that the best example, since the government is getting into this a lot now, and he thought this is a good example to really publicize and push different aspects beyond what the paper did. So I thought, okay, and then I had to go back and pull the paper out and read it again to remind myself what was in it.
That's off the pages.
Just know you're the author.
He's the author.
I'm the author. Well, he actually had given a talk on my paper to some group, and he's really got connections. I mean, really respect him, and he wants us to write together a paper. I told him, "Well, you write it," and he said, "No, he wants me to be involved in it." So we're going to write a paper on that. And when I wrote the paper, at the very end of it, probably don't remember it. I had to go back and look at it myself. I made a calculation of the objects were not ice particles, they're probably spacecraft of some kind. I was indicating they're probably extraterrestrial. And I said that depending on where it was between the shuttle and the horizon, they had unbelievable G's of acceleration. You know, it went up to 1 million if you go clear out. And so it starts here and then it gets up to 1,000. But I had a table that had that. And so and I just let it sit there because they didn't say, these are extraterrestrials. What are they doing here? But he wants to extend beyond that now. And he wants to take the paper as a launching spot. And then we'll go beyond that and really get into other stuff, since the government is now becoming receptive to this kind of stuff. So that's what the deal is. And so I went back and read a lot of the paper to remind myself what I'd written. And so we're writing a paper together now. Yeah, it really is. And my part of it is that he's going to send out to just write a condensed version of the 5 proofs that they're not ice particles. And so I'm writing the discussion after that. I've written that. And then I take a lot of what I wrote and then I go beyond it and then really say, we are being visited. These are extraterrestrial craft. And we're going to go beyond that now as part of it and using this as a basis.
But beyond that,
That's what I'm trying to figure out what to do. But
need help?
well, yeah, I mean, what kind of,
Article.
well, he showed me a couple of journals and it's a high class journal. He thinks that we should limit it to 20 pages because if you do it longer than that, then not very many people are going to read it. But he showed one article in this journal that has about 20 different people, you know, Jacques Vallée and a bunch of other people. I mean, really a high class journal that we're going to try to publish it. So I've written a part of it myself. I rewrote the discussion, condensed it, and he said, this is it, and it's probably beyond 10 miles and so on. So we've got tremendous accelerations, up to 1,000 and more, 1,000 Gs for this. And so I wrote that all out. And then I gave something here a couple months ago about this 900 Gs and this guy. Well, I went back and dug out that, and I'm going to put this right next to what I had for the discussion, because the 900 Gs is right about in the middle of the accelerations that would be in this from STS-48. I mean, it's another example of what it went from 70,000 feet down to 12,500 feet in 2 seconds is what it did. And that's 900 Gs. And it's right in the middle of, it just follows up what we had from the STS. So it's a good thing to put together. And that's my contribution now. And I don't know what he's been doing, but
So you're done with your part, essentially.
well, I think so. I don't know what I'm going to excel. What are they doing? And this would squash people. So what kind of propulsion system? Do they pop out to another dimension and back? You know, this is the kind of ideas we want to kind of throw around after all this.
Quantum bubble.
Well, whatever might pass this. I mean,
So the object that was floating around on the video.
Goes like this and goes like
Yeah, and
this.
then there's
Yeah.
another object that comes up. You know what that object
Well,
is?
I speculate on that.
Yeah.
It's obviously somebody shooting at it. I mean, I never said that.
It wouldn't be like
in
a
the
missile,
article.
though, right? 'Cause it's still too fast, right?
Well, like it wouldn't be what?
A missile, because it's too fast. It seems like a fast object.
Well,
Shot
Not a
up.
laser.
Well, something very advanced. I mean, I just pointed at it in the article and said, wow, this came up so we're going to go beyond and make some assumptions about what might happen, assuming that this is an extraterrestrial craft some elsewhere. And that's the basis of the article.
Yeah, I had another question. Do you know where in the world that was at that?
It was
shot the-
down near Australia.
Australia?
Yeah. So he thinks the paper is a good solid proof that we have had extraterrestrials coming here. And so he wants to start with that assumption, not an assumption, a proof, and then go beyond now. I mean, and he's going to probably go beyond. I don't know what he's going to do.
You know, it's very hard to find that clip of you talking on that.
Oh, yeah.
subject On YouTube. You can't even find it anymore.
Boy, well, I've got a few videotapes, but
What's his name again?
on the what?
What is his name again?
The name.
Yeah.
What's the name?
That's it. I don't have the notes. He's got a funny name.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's name, my wife calls him Mr. Marshmallow because his name kind of sounds like a marshmallow or something. It's a very funny first name, and then a long funny.
What school is he at?
I can't remember any of that stuff, but he's really got a solid background. I mean,
Is he from the States?
yeah,
Oh.
he's on the East Coast. He knows all the people. I mean, he's
The man in black.
I didn't ask. I had Zoom meetings, but I couldn't tell what he had on really.
Interesting, or maybe more powerful, is if there are indeed going to be more hearings about the UFOs. I refuse to call them UAPs.
Yeah,
But if
me
there
too,
are
yeah.
gonna be more hearings, it would really smack hard if your guys' article came out right about that.
That's his intention, because again, he just finished giving a talk on my paper to a group, and that kind of amazed me too. And he got questions from a high group of people that he was giving it to.
So just wondering, what kind of journal you published it?
I don't remember. I didn't make notes, but he showed me a journal that he thought it would go in. Not just the regular stuff. It's a highly scientific journal that is looking for papers kind of like this. And he showed me an article. Like I said, there are about 20 different names, the authors of this particular article, and really a lot of people. I mean, really.
This is exciting.
It really is exciting, and I'm not quite sure. Well, I don't know what he's going to write, but I know that I wrote a synopsis of my discussion. I started by saying, now that we don't know we know they're not ice particles. Then I went through, and at the end I said, this is some extraterrestrial craft. And I said, based on this table, we have accelerations that are way beyond anything we're capable on the Earth. That's the statement I do make. And then that he found, I mean, I told him about this other example of the 900 Gs, and he just has all kinds of stuff, and he just picked out where it was. It was from Dr. Greer. And so that's where I got it, and I got the guy's name and his background and the numbers that he said, 70,000 feet to 12,500 in 2 seconds. And then I do the calculation saying it's 900 Gs. Not possible. That's what I said when I told you people about it. We don't even talk about that. Well, we're talking about it now in that, and then also in the STS-48. And he wants to launch this to get it out in front of everything, and we'll see what happens.
It's been another 25 years since you posted that.
I had to go back and pull it out and read it again to remember what was in there. Well,
You should ask him if we can see if anybody filmed a video of that speech he gave recently.
Oh, that, yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, I pulled up Greer's thing and I can't even remember the guy's name, a lieutenant colonel, somebody, it's just all kinds of 100 missions and so on in the background. And it's about the whole thing. And he talked about all the different numbers. Another thing was that it came down and it was following him within 5 miles. And then they wanted to get pictures of it. So he went into 3 miles away, lifted up his craft, and they got a picture of it. And this was the 2-second thing. And then he got back and he gave the film to his superior, and superior says, don't talk about it. And that pissed him off. So there were 3 different radar stations that caught it also. And he called one of them, and the guy was extremely excited. And they started talking about it. And they said, we got it too. And then all of a sudden, the guy was going, what? And then he said, got to hang up. And he hung up. That was the end of it. So it was really a mysterious. It was, we don't have the photos. Yeah. He handed it to his superior. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really one of the 2-second thing and 900G thing is a really neat case, but it completely reinforces the STS-48 with the accelerations. And this is not just something that I'm saying, well, if it was over here, it's 1,000 Gs. His was it was about almost 900 Gs, where that's what it is if you calculate it. Yeah. So that's in the mix, and I'm not sure where it's going, but he wants to really make a big deal out of it.
I won't go over it again. So there's 3 different radar stations.
Yeah.
They recorded an object.
And and the name of the radar stations is significant too, and I can't remember what it was.
Were they in the United States?
No, this was off. This was during the Vietnam War. And it was off the coast in the ocean of Vietnam, just off the coast. And there are 3 different radar stations that were following him. And he was a little concerned because he's supposed to have 2, he didn't have any ammunition on his ship. And there were 2 that were going to protect him, and they weren't up. So he was going around in a circle. And then all of a sudden, he got the radar stations, 3 different ones says, there's something up at 70,000 feet, just coming from Laos, and it's watching you. And he didn't get too upset because it's at 70,000 feet, and he was at 12,000 feet. Then in 2 seconds, it was down 5 miles from him, and that's 900 Gs.
So you get visuals on it?
He got visuals and he got pictures.
Visual pictures of 3 radars.
Well, from the 3 writers, they must have had something. I don't know what they have, but they tracked the thing and said, it's up there watching you.
But he physically had pictures that were taken.
He had a guy that was with him, was a photographer. And he was flying this jet, and the stuff was at the bottom underneath. So he had to lift the jet up like this to get the picture. He went from the thing was 5 miles from him, and it was following him. And so to get pictures, he came within 3 miles and filled it up, and they've got pictures of it. And then it went up above 80,000 feet in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
It's
so
gone.
the other stations, all they have is the screen in front of
Yeah,
them.
that's
They
right.
don't have any
That's right. He actually got very excited. Yeah. And so he went back and reported to his superior, and superior took the film and said, don't talk about it. And he felt like he should talk about it. So he called one of the 3 radars, and the guy was talking very excited, said, we got it too. And he was talking, and all of a sudden he stopped because someone was talking to him. And then he said, gotta go. And he hung up. That was it. It's a mystery case. Anyway, I thought that was a really good one to go along with the other, because this was a highly documented thing with a good Air Force pilot, lieutenant colonel. And so that's where it is. That's going to be the ending of
a lot of documented cases from the Vietnam War.
There must be, yeah.
Of UFOs everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So this was one. This was in the Greer's thing that probably a lot of you have seen it. And so that's where it is. And that's what I just wrote to him, my segment. And he's going to summarize the proof that from my paper. I didn't think I could do it because there's so much in it that I would put too much in it, I think. But anyway, that's that. And he wants to publish it. And the journal he showed me is a top-notch journal. And he's got really a lot of good UFO connections and
Well, it'll be another nice MUFON
Well,
article when you get it done, Dr.
I'll let you know what's going on. But I
Your
thought
work is never done, Dr.
it never happens to the extent I have to find the article and read it to find out what I wrote.
It'd be fun to have like a 10-minute summary or 5-minute summary of it. See.
Yeah. Well,
We'll
yeah.
have to do a short video and put it on YouTube.
Well, that's right. Well, that's where everything is. Well, I'll let you know what happens.
Yeah. Get you back out on the YouTube front.
Well,
It's on YouTube now. This is going on YouTube.
I know. That's where this thing is for. 2 second thing. That's a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Oh, that we can find
Greer's
today.
meeting. Yeah, Greer's meeting. Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back.
Oops. I wanted to get down to the, oops. You go another video here and then start the slideshow.
Top right.
Top right.
Slideshow.
Oh, slideshow. All right. There's another video from Christina Gomez. Maybe. Come on.
8 witnesses were about to testify at the National Press Club about a 1996 UFO crash in Brazil. Their visas to the United States were denied. However, a neurosurgeon who claimed he stood face to face with a living alien being for 4 minutes is still coming. And an air traffic controller says he watched an unauthorized U.S. Air Force plane land on Brazilian soil to pick something up. On January 20th, the world is about to hear testimony that someone clearly doesn't want you to hear. This is a major story developing right now. Filmmaker James Fox, the director behind Moment of Contact and The Phenomenon, is bringing Brazilian witnesses to Washington to testify about what they say was a UFO crash and the capture of a non-human being. But efforts to stop this testimony are now impossible to ignore. So let's get straight into what's happening and why it matters. As always, I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. You can find the sources in my detailed articles at ufonews.co, along with in the description box below. Hey ufologists, I'm Christina Gomez, and welcome to this episode of Daily UFO News Updates. For those unfamiliar with the Varginha case, here's a quick version. In January of 1996, witnesses in Varginha, Brazil, reported a cigar-shaped craft in distress over the city. Days later, 3 young women encountered a creature in broad daylight. They described a being about 4 feet tall with oily brown skin, red eyes, and 3 protrusions on its head. Military police allegedly captured at least one of these beings. A 23-year-old officer named Marco Chirizi, who handled the creature with his bare hands, died weeks later from an infection doctors couldn't explain. The Brazilian military denies everything, but dozens of witnesses tell a very different story, and now they want to tell it publicly. The centerpiece of the January 20th event is Dr. Italo Venturelli, a Brazilian neurosurgeon. For nearly 30 years, he denied any involvement. Then he had a heart attack, then prostate cancer, and he decided he couldn't take this secret to the grave. James Fox describes the moment the doctor first admitted what he saw. Here's what James mentioned on Weaponized.
So we get on video call, do a little brief introduction. Marco is doing the translation, and I never once asked him, did you see the creature? I was all about the video. So I was like, did you see the video? And he confesses on the video call, but there was just a call there wasn't recording. It was just me talking to him through video with the translator, with Marco Leal. So I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, my buddy shot it and I saw it, blah, blah, blah. It does exist. And I was just like, okay, I need to get my ass back to Brazil.
James Fox eventually got Dr. Venturelli on camera, and this time the doctor didn't just admit to seeing the video, he admitted to seeing the creature in person at the regional hospital in Varginha.
And he's got his full lab coat on and everything, and he sneaks us in through these corridors, a whole maze of corridors, and he takes us in, and he goes, put this gear on. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm putting on this gear because he's taking us into the ICU where the alien was, and that's where the video was shot too. The sound guy's down there, the camera guy's down there. We're trying to put the gear on, and it was like, start talking video, and all of a sudden he's like, no, the creature was right here in this bed right here. And I was like, you saw the creature in this bed? And that's when I realized, like, this guy's going full open Komodo. Like, screw it.
The doctor took James inside the actual ICU where the being was being held, and he described looking into the creature's eyes. He said it communicated telepathically. He said it showed no judgment, and actually, the doctor compared it to an angel. This is a practicing neurosurgeon willing to put his career on the line, and he told Fox he would take a lie detector test and put his hand on the Bible to show that he's telling the truth. James Fox also obtained testimony from the forensic pathologists who examined the deceased military officer Marco Chirizi's body.
We got an interview. Thank you, Marco Leal, for helping make that happen with the two forensic pathologists. One that did the autopsy on the deceased military officer. His name is Dr. Armando. He's a forensic pathologist. And then his partner, Dr. Giannini, who founded the company, IPD Labs. Dr. Giannini studied the tissue samples, and he's coming forward in the film saying, I've never seen anything like this bacteria perform the way the bacteria did with him. Never before, never since.
A healthy 23-year-old dies from an infection that two forensic pathologists say behave unlike anything they've ever seen. Dr. Giannini describes it as weaponized, and that's the word that he used. Now, here is where the story takes a turn that should concern everyone, regardless on if you believe about UFOs or even this case at all. 8 witnesses who were supposed to testify at the National Press Club just had their visas denied, and the timing is very suspicious. James Fox spent months coordinating this event. He worked directly with members of Congress. He contacted the consulate in Rio, Brazil. He provided every document they asked for, his credentials, his films, the event details. He even agreed to be personally responsible for every witness.
I was calling a specific member of Congress. They're calling the consulate in Rio, and they're going, look, and then they're asking me for all this additional information. I'm like, yes, here's my movie, here's my credentials, here's what I'm doing, here's the event I'm holding, I'm paying for everybody, it's all on me, I'll be responsible for getting them there, returning them there, and then like eight visas got denied.
Fox says some were even initially approved. Then, once authorities found out the event was specifically about the Varginha case, everything changed. The approvals were pulled. Fox doesn't know exactly why the visas were denied, but he has his suspicions.
And so all these people were coming, and then I don't know exactly ultimately what caused them to change their mind, but they even approved some, and then they found out it was about the whole Varginha case. And I don't know, this is speculation, but suddenly the kibosh went down.
Think about what that means. These are not asylum seekers. These are not people with criminal records. These are doctors, witnesses, and professionals who were invited to speak at the National Press Club about events that happened nearly 30 years ago, and someone decided that they should not be allowed to enter the country. Now, let us talk about why this case matters beyond Brazil. James interviewed a Brazilian air traffic controller who was monitoring flights.
This guy was a radar control officer where he would monitor in a particular area of Brazil the flights coming in. And I remember Marco something and his partner, and he came clean. He's like, yeah, this USAF flight came in. And I was like, USAF? What the hell is this guy talking about USAF? It's like, oh, United States Air Force. He came in and goes, he didn't have authorization from the Brazilian government. You can't land. You have to have Brazilian authorization. He says, this high-level brass guy walks in the door and goes, let him land. And the damn plane lands in Campinas. And that's where Our military ex says he drove the damn thing to Campinas. It makes everything lines up.
An unauthorized U.S. Air Force flight landed in Brazil. No clearance from the Brazilian government. A high-level official simply ordered them to let the plane land. And this happened at the same military base where the witnesses say the recovered materials were transported. Fox says this controller is willing to reveal his credentials to members of Congress. I want to hear from you. Why would 8 visas suddenly be denied for witnesses coming to testify about a case from 1996? What is the threat? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Fox flew back to Brazil just weeks ago to record video statements from the witnesses who cannot attend in person, and he will present those at the National Press Club. But Fox is clear about what he needs.
And we're also bringing a senator in. Thank you, Michael Schellenberger, for helping make that happen. A sitting member of the Senate in Brazil, and we want to connect them with members here and start a joint investigation on both sides. So that's what we're doing. Because I think if true, okay, I'm going to say this again, if true, this could be the case that settles this debate once and for all. And I'm not asking anybody out there to believe it, but help me research it. Help me dig deeper. Help me get answers.
He wants the flight records. He wants to know who was that unauthorized plane. He wants a joint investigation between the U.S. and the Brazilian governments. And he's willing to offer everything he has to make it happen. The National Press Club event will take place January 20th, 2026 in Washington, D.C. It is open to the public, but with a capacity of only 400 people. It's also free to enter. Cameras are welcome, and James Fox is calling this the biggest grassroots efforts in his career. The briefing will also be streamed on News Nation. Whether you believe these claims or not, the fact that witnesses are being blocked from testifying should raise serious questions. Transparency matters, and right now, someone is working very hard to prevent it. What do you think is really going on? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm Christina Gomez, and that is it for today. I will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST for another daily UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.
Have you seen that movie made by James Fox about this case?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. What's it called? Is it called The Moment of Contact? The creature was found by 2 5-year-old girls and their teenage cousin. And where you saw them standing by that wall, that's where they found the creature.
Well, you know it's true. I think James Fox is alive.
Yeah, he's very
Moment of
good.
contact, I think.
I think it's called The Moment of Contact.
Roswell of Brazil.
Either YouTube or where.
Yeah.
This is probably not the
I don't know where I found it or how I found it. I don't think it's the Roswell.
It's on Tubi.
Oh, it's on TV?
YouTube TV.
Moment of Contact, 2022.
Yeah, it's a couple years old.
Exploration of extraterrestrial encounters is centered on the series of events in 1996, Virginia, Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was an older thing that happened, but I felt that the part about the witnesses not being able to come forward or get their visas was interesting stuff. It's kind of showing a little bit more about that.
So what's the name of the movie, Fred?
Moment of Contact.
Moment of Contact. Yeah.
But there's also one on.
Looks like it's on YouTube.
Well, but we want the one by James Fox.
Yeah. There's a YouTube called Encounters with Aliens, James Fox.
I don't think that's.
Astonishing UFO discoveries in Virginia and beyond. YouTube. It's there too.
Fred, did you want to come forward and introduce your?
On a case.
No, well, introduce Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
Well. Did Alan have a sighting?
Well,
He's still there with us.
yeah.
Hey, Alan, did you have a sighting that you wanted to talk about? You have to unmute yourself there, Alan. You have to unmute.
Okay, yeah, my wife had a sighting last year. And I'm going to put her in my seat here so she can tell you all about it.
You gotta talk up, Kim.
Huh?
Have Kim talk up, speak up.
Okay. This was like early last year. It was warm out. It was dark time and stuff. And imagine now, Fred, I know you've been to our house, so if you remember our backyard, okay, this was nighttime going from the right, slowly going along to the left and then disappearing was a boxcar looking vehicle with the amber lights, but I could see somebody in each one of those windows.
Okay.
And then it just disappeared. So that was that time. And then this one was just a dream or something I saw where there was like a tall praying mantis looking creature on our sidewalk next to the house in front of the living room windows. It turned and looked at me and then I woke up. But I have never forgotten that, every single detail of it.
So
Yeah.
how big was the entity?
I would say up to the top of our windows would be what, 6, 7 foot maybe?
Right.
Something like that. So that was just different. So next time I'll have my camera out.
So you said this was what type of being now? You said it was
To me, thinking about it, looked like a praying mantis.
praying mantis type? Okay.
Yeah.
So have you had any other encounters like that before?
No.
Okay, so this is the first one.
Right.
But you had Alan and Kim had an encounter way back when in quite a while ago. And it was a very good case where they saw a blue orb in the sky that came towards them and it manifested into a craft and Kim called it Pepsi Blue. It had a blue light and a white light on the back of it, and it manifested into this deer came out of the craft underneath the craft, and then it disappeared, and then it appeared in front of the car that Alan was driving, and this deer ran right along the front of the car, across the car, and then into the ditch. And then I asked, and so Alan drove home, and I said, Alan, what time was it that you got home from the tractor pull? So they were in Carrollton, Nebraska at a tractor pull, and they left around 10:30 at night. And they drove up to Highway 20 and back over to Osmond, Nebraska. And they were, I forget the name of the little town that they were in. They just drove a couple miles outside of this little town, and this craft came in as a blue light that came towards them. And as they were driving west, this blue orb came to them, and then it manifested in this craft. It was a cigar-shaped craft with a blue light, and that Kim calls the Pepsi blue light and a white light. And then it was matched and paced Alan's car, their truck, truck they were driving. And then this little deer dropped out of it, and then it manifested in front of Alan, in front of the car, ran
I was
across
going 50 miles an hour at the time.
50, 60 miles.
Pardon me?
I was going 50, 60 miles an hour at the time.
Exactly. So you were driving, and then I asked Alan, what time was it that you got home? He says, Fred, I know exactly what time, and that's the first thing I did when I walked into the house. I looked up and I saw a clock, and it said 2 o'clock. I said, Alan, I said, if you left around 10:30, even 11 o'clock, it only takes a half hour to drive home. And here it's 2 o'clock already. And I said, you've got at least 2 hours of missing time. And he said, I never realized that until that time. And then he goes, hey, Alan, how close was the deer to your truck? He goes, it was right on my bumper when it ran across in front of it. I said, hey, you think that the deer would have got ran over if you're doing 55, 60 miles an hour? Alan goes, you're right. So he runs out to the garage and checks his car and comes back, goes, there's no damage. There's no nothing. So that's when I said, well, of course, we know that the deer is a common image that are of the great. So that was a screen memory so the craft went there. And what happened with the craft? And he said, once the deer ran across, Dallin said he looked at the craft off to the left. It's like right off the edge of the corn rows on the south side of the road. It said the craft jumped back like 6 car lengths back and then shot straight up and disappeared. Yeah. So that's one of my very first cases I had, which I found very, very interesting. Again, he's got missing time. He's got a screen memory of the deer, which is very iconic between deer and owls and rabbits and things of that nature that appear. And then again, there's no damage to the car. And Alan also had other events and time frames where he saw the blue light. You remember the blue? One time he said you and Kim was driving and all of a sudden you saw the blue light again, and Alan stopped the car and Kim grabbed a hold of him because Alan was going to jump out of the car and go look at this light that came in. So actually, that's very, for me, it's a very fascinating case of the blue light incident. And again, so they got missing time in the whole get-go. So that's an excellent case. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Kim.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Fred. Thank you, Greg.
I actually did get out of the car.
Wrapping it up.
All right, the upcoming events. Oops. Well, this was the January MUFON journal that came out recently. It's got an article about the mystery airships, past, present, and future. I'm looking forward to reading that. Other upcoming events are the next Nebraska Iowa MUFON meeting is from 10 to 12 on February 21st. The next Iowa meeting is March 14th from 2 to 4 at the West Des Moines Library. The upcoming summer symposium for MUFON is August 27th and 30th. And it's in Covington, Kentucky, which is essentially Cincinnati. It's right across the Ohio River. And you should become a field investigator. And thank you for attending. And Kyle's got any remarks?
No, but probably it. Only other thing I have is in March, I'll probably be gone. So we might do either a Zoom only meeting or something.
What, next month?
March.
Oh, March.
February, we're still good. We got the room reserved and we're good to go. So we have one more in-person meeting, then probably a Zoom only meeting. But other than
is it just a matter of finding a new place on the campus?
no, I'm not gonna be here, so I can't set up all the Zoom stuff.
I mean, like going forward. So is this a one-time thing in March is what I'm asking?
Yeah. We'll be back in here in April and stuff like that. But yep, thanks everybody for coming on Zoom, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Dr. Thatcher. You're gonna have to